Would you marry someone in less than a year? What about saying no to a prenup? Or wait until someone is fully built before you even consider them? Let's talk about it. Yep. That was nice. Today, we're not deep diving, we're rapid firing, tackling the questions singles are really asking. And some of these might challenge how you think about relationships. Welcome to Live, Love, and Marry Wiser. I'm your host, Lorraine Edwards. We have seen so many relationships go over the edge. We have committed our voices to building fences at the cliff, so we need fewer ambulances in the valley. Today, with all the fence building wisdom that you can handle, are all the co hosts in the house, Onita, Ebony, and Renee. What's up, y'all?
Whoop, whoop. What's up, fam?
Hey y'all.
First of all, we need y'all to let us know you're here in the chat. And this is Hot Topic Tuesday, where we
Yes.
go live with real questions from singles and give you honest, practical insight, not theory, not fluff, but perspective we hope you can actually use. These are the conversations that people are having. I'm on several groups on Facebook for singles, particularly Christian singles. And these are questions that are being asked. And so today we wanted to bring them to you. Just a few, but we don't want you to just listen to us. We want you to share in the chat where you stand on these issues. So, are you ready?
We all ready.
We ready.
Okay. The first question is, what are your thoughts on couples getting married after just a year of dating or less than a year of knowing each other? Who wants to tackle that first?
I'm happy to jump in from
Go ahead.
experience. So, my husband and I had known each other for 3 months before he proposed.
Whoa, this is a
Um,
fascinating story.
he proposed. I said yes, and we didn't get married until maybe a year and a half later. But in that time, we were um, living our lives as fiancés.
Mhm.
Um, to go back, I wouldn't necessarily not have said yes. I would have gotten us into some counseling. I would have laid a
Mhm.
better foundation for us, particularly since, like I said, we'd only known each other for 3 months. And so, in that time between when he proposed and when we got married, we still didn't do enough of the stuff that
Mhm.
generally happens when you date for longer. So I would say if you make that decision, you want to lay the proper foundation, just like you would, at any other time frame. But you want to lay the proper foundation so that you start off on the good foot.
All right. Okay. Anyone else want to jump in there?
First of all, how long have I known you? I know I'm today years old. I'm today years old. OMG. Oh my gosh. Um, I think it depends on the season and your age because I think that
Mm.
if you're already older, you may have even been married before or divorced or widowed. So you already understand and have a concept of time is of the essence, and you know who you are. Like you know what it takes to make you feel fulfilled in a relationship. You're so you say. I guess I'm saying if you're older, I think I feel more comfortable with it. If you're maybe 30, 35 and older, you've experienced life a little bit. You've had some
She was
serious
21.
relationships, huh?
She was 21.
Yeah, I was too. So I was too. So
That chick right there was 21.
I digress. Um, But I
Hmm.
mean, shoot, we were early in our dating talking about what we wanted in life later. So I think if you're having the conversations, and for men, honestly, men know when a man knows, he knows.
Yeah.
So I don't think I know. Well, there's no. He's been there. It's what 30 some years now. Michael knew, and so therefore he knew. To E's point, maybe there's some other things he could have been doing too in the midst of that, but I think if people are older, they've been, they're a season of life where they know what they need, and they're able to clearly communicate that early on, and they find this person that their values align with, the character, their core beliefs, their non-negotiables, and finances. Because if they
Hmm.
are
Mhm.
older, it's like, you want to see what you're taking on. Then I don't think there's a time limit. I think I would say though, at least I would like you to. I think you should best to be dating at least 6 months before that comes about, because they always say you're meeting the candidate. Like you ain't had no real
Mhm.
fight. Even a
Hmm.
year, actually, because scientifically, I should have had the quote up here. It said even after a year. I was listening to a podcast one day. They said even after the first year is because you're still on this high of euphoria
Mhm.
that you
Mhm.
still don't really come down to your normal mind until
See,
after.
that's why we asking the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
She kind of the answer's a little bit shifted as you
it's
say
Yeah.
shifted.
it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
As
shifted.
you
I'm thinking
talk,
out loud.
you're shifting. You shifted.
My memory was
Speak your thing.
sparked.
Speak
My
your
memory
thing.
was yeah, my memory was rekindled when I thought about it, where these actual scientists said you're still in
Mhm.
this high, to where there's certain questions and things you probably don't even get to until after year one, because
Mhm.
you're just only seeing all of the greatness and all the good. So I guess I'm saying no. I guess I'm saying you need to wait. And if you any of my children, don't come on, tell me we
Yeah,
get married at
come
first
over
sight.
here. Renee, what do you think?
Okay. First of all, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you great.
Oh, okay. As someone who has not been married 5 seconds, I say as quick as possible. Just kidding. Just kidding. With me being a little bit older, I know now the importance of waiting, getting to know someone and waiting
Mm.
until I don't want to say till the mask falls off, at least until it is
Mm.
confirmed that this person that you believe is a really good person is a good
Hmm.
person, until you find out that they really truly are a good person. That's when, I would
Hmm.
say move forward. As far as the time
Mhm.
frame, I have no idea, how long that would be, because even some of the people who like start dating and get married quickly, like you don't know how long they've known each other or how long they've been in a position to
True.
observe each other to say, you know
Hmm.
what, that person, you know, and I
Hmm.
want
Well,
Hmm.
I guess we're
kind of
coming from the
for myself
perspective
or
of
snatch
them
her up.
just knowing.
Um,
Yeah.
Hmm.
okay, so yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
okay, so yeah, if they are just getting to know each other, I don't know. I don't know. There's always that God factor,
Yeah.
bringing people together sometimes. There's just so much, that could go
Yeah.
into that, because like I'm thinking about my son's babysitters when he was younger, Nanny and Don, and they said they got married after 2 weeks, and I'm meeting them in their 70s and they are
Yeah.
ridiculously in love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
just so many different factors. I'm all for it when it's right, but
Yeah.
I would have to be on the inside to know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's a
think,
fair way to put that.
yeah, and I wanted
Um,
to add one thing to what Renee was just saying too. Um, there was a couple in our church recently, maybe 3 years ago, that they were dating. I mean, I think they got married at month three. Their spiritual, their faith, everything that aligned. They were very clear in communicating. They did the premarital counseling in that time, married and still, and then they had a baby like a year or two later. See, they seem to be very fulfilled and very happy, but they both came in it, I would say, with eyes wide open, as far as they weren't looking for a fairy tale. They were very upfront, like first day. I'm not,
Mhm.
they were like, I'm not compromising on my faith. And she was like, well, I'm not compromising on my faith. Like they were very sure of their non-negotiables as far as where faith and the foundation of it. They both believed in that. And so to your point, like the discernment and knowing where you're aligned. And then other thing, one of my favorite shows, even though not many couples are still married, Married at First Sight, one thing that I've noticed again coming off of that is you still have a choice, even if you've known each other 3 years and then get married. You still have a choice if you're going to choose to love this person through the good, bad, and indifferent, or if you're not. So no matter if it's we've been dating 2 weeks or we've been dating some people, unfortunately, 12 years and then decide to get married. Once you do the do, are you still going to then choose to go through all of the
Yeah.
seasons of that faith, that relationship, and stay
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, I love that. One thing that I felt like I heard you guys say though, when you were talking about, Victor and Michael, is having a
Mhm.
vision. I mean, like they know what they want or whatever. So I'm thinking about these people who are just getting to know each other, but they already have a vision for their lives, and it includes having a partner. You know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I'm guessing if you are knowing that you want a partner, then you know that you want to be a partner. So you know what you're bringing to the table.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
I would, yeah. I mean, I think it's true that there are a lot of factors that have to be considered. Um, I even at my age, I would still want to wait a year, but that doesn't mean then you have to wait another year to have a wedding. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do all of those things. I think it's good to have those seasons. I mean, even the simple things like how do you celebrate Christmas versus how do I have to go to your
Mhm.
family all the time? Like these are
Mhm.
things that you don't necessarily ask,
Yes.
Yeah.
but you can then run into because you're experiencing what that looks like for you. Maybe you don't want to celebrate at all. Maybe I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's interesting because this is what we do. And, so there's just so many different things. But I also think that, Tim Ross, he said something that really resonated with me one time when he was talking about getting married because him and his wife, I think they met and got engaged and got married in less than probably 9 months, I think, maybe a year. And he said that what you're deciding when you marry someone is that what you've seen is enough for you to know that you want to spend your life because you ain't
Right.
seen most of it.
Right.
Yes.
And
Right.
Yes.
you can spend 30 years and still. So he's like, you're just deciding, is this the kind of person
Yeah.
that I can happily spend the rest of the time
Mhm.
figuring out. And even when the rough stuff comes, I want to go through that with them. So I do think that if it's both kind of, for me, I still would want to and ask the right questions. Pastor Leggett has, like you need to be saying this at 30 days, this needs to already happen. In 90 days, this is so it's intentional. It's not just like we're just stumbling along dating and figuring stuff. He's like, no, these are the conversations you need to have. These are the things you need to say. This is what he needs to know about you. This is what he needs to know that you're going to do for him. So when you're doing all of that, time constricts because you get to the mask falling off pretty quickly when you
Mhm.
Mhm.
outline what you really want from a relationship, and they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, peace, see ya.
Yes.
Can't do
Mhm.
that one. All right.
That was
so
good, Lo.
the real answer is we all know. I'm like,
To each his own. What we're saying is to each his own.
Let the
What
Holy
about
Spirit guide you. That's the
yeah.
answer.
I'm gonna say,
But
yeah.
Let the Holy
we
Spirit
do
guide.
have to first
yeah,
depend
that
on the
part.
Holy Spirit to guide us because because God is
Yeah.
he'll be like, you ain't got that much time, go ahead.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, here we go. Question number 2. Would you rather connect with someone who has vision and momentum, someone still building, still stretching, still becoming, and grow together? Or would you prefer to wait until everything is already established, completed, and stable, and then come together from a place of arrival? Now, let me give you context for this before you answer. Um, so I'm in a group, Christians, um, single people, and this gentleman said he's seeing this trend where like men are building alone and women are building alone, and
Mhm.
then they're like, oh, we've established and now I'm ready to XYZ. And he's like, be honest, which are you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say my answer for last. But Renee, would you like to jump off on that? What are your thoughts? Or Ebony, or like whoever, if you got some, let me know. Let me know.
Well, one thing is, y'all know I like to come with stats. Okay. So, because I already knew my answer before even started, my answer was A, building vision, having vision, still building, still climbing, because that's where my husband and I started at, off at. And this is what I saw growing up. And it's like, if I've already got everything I have, which I've seen this in a lot of women, 35, 40 plus, they have everything. And they literally, the thought is, what can a man do for me? I've
Mm-hmm.
already got it off. I already bought my house. I already have my job, my career, all the
I'm so glad
things.
you said that.
So what can a man bring to the table for me? And so I would say the option A, the building, still growing, still, because it's in that still growing and still stretching is that we're learning each other. I'm
Yeah.
learning what makes you tick. I'm learning what pushes you, what motivates you, what derails you, what excels you. How are you when stuff happens? Are you able to push through and persevere, or are you always leaning on me to be the strong one? And vice versa. Can he trust me with his dreams and his visions? Am I going to support him and push him? These are things that in a partnership you need to know about this person. But if I've always built on my own over here and you've always built on your own, it's going to be very hard to come together and mesh this. We both have been full head leaders in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
then it's hard for me now to come and take a secondary role and let you lead all the time when I'm just used to always leading, always building. And again, I got everything I already need. Why do I need you? But I just wanted to share a little statistics that, as we know, and this has really become more of the thing with modern generations. Gen X, I still wouldn't say as much because I'm Gen X, but millennials and Gen Z, where financial readiness matters much more. Unfortunately, financial readiness matters much more than character and values. That's a
Mm.
problem. So we've reversed the thing. Versus before, when you're talking about the older
Hmm.
generations, the silent gen, the boomers, it was you weren't expected to be financially set before marriage. It wasn't an expectation. Even before them, of course, the men had to have the job and they had to be able. When your father said, "I'm giving my daughter to you," that's because she hadn't left home ever, and
Right.
daddy had been taking care of her. And then so when he gave her hand at that altar, he was saying, "Okay, bruh, you got her on everything." There was no calling back home for dad for nothing. And so the man had to be established in some sense. But you didn't have to, but careers was just beginning. A lot of times women didn't even have a job, definitely not a full-time job. And so that expectation wasn't there. And of course, though, you saw the sanctity of marriage, and the families and communities just be a lot stronger because she was able to be home helping while he's building, helping with the home life, helping rearing the children. And then you saw all how that all demise as everybody moms out the home a whole lot more. That's a whole nother episode. But my point is, option A, we building together, we're growing together, and we're able to weather those seasons of storms together and see and help each other grow and see how each other flows.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Renee,
Give me the options again.
build together or build alone and then come together once you're stable.
It was two. I felt like it was more than two, but nonetheless,
It's only two.
yeah, I felt like there were more than two, but nonetheless, just because I that's not a road that I have, kind of tread on yet. I'm still gonna say the same thing. I there are so many factors that would play into which one would be okay. Like I definitely see, young people coming together because they haven't gotten to that place where they really start establishing themselves yet, where they, get together like, you guys in your 20s and then you guys grow and, all of that together and build your life and your family and work together in partnership to do that. But also, like I'm thinking about like Laterris Whitfield, who recently got married. This man is good and established. The host of Dear Future Wifey, he's good and
Hmm.
established. He knew what he wanted. He's always said that he wanted a purpose partner, and she has also done some great things in her life as well. But what she was doing, separate from him, and what he was doing, they align. You know what I mean? So she was able to kind of come in and just get right on board. And now they're having something that flows, at least from what we can see. you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of open for either one. I mean, definitely I want us at, because with me being unmarried at this point, I definitely want us to be established in the sense that we have a, a stable life and, all of that. Um, we've got different things going on. But as far
Yeah.
as us coming together and developing a purpose, a different type of purpose in unity, that's still a possibility, So that's my
That's
Mhm.
thinking.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
E.
Yeah.
E.
Mine is
I'm gonna go. Let me.
is option C, in that it for me it has to be a combination of both. Like you have there needs to be some establishment in before you decide that you want me to be your wife. Like
Hmm.
you do need to have a job. You do need to have a vision, and a vision that you are actively working towards. You do need to have a direction in which you're going. You need to have your own relationship with Christ. Like there needs to be some stability of your character and some stability of your hands before we decide that we're going to come together as one. And that's really on both sides. Let me be clear. That's on both sides.
Yeah.
And and you should never be established, quote unquote. You should never be done. You should
Yes.
always be growing. You should always be stretching. Because when you get to that place where you're like, okay, I'm good here, then that's where complacency sets in. And for me
Mhm.
personally, like that's not going. I'm always on the hustle to learn, always on the hustle to grow, always looking for how can I do better and be better. And so my partner needs to be the same way. And so I think for me, it's like it's a combination of both. And I think that what Hayden's point is absolutely right. Even if you have built alone, if you are not a selfish person, if you
Yeah.
truly want a partner, then you are able to then bring what you have built together and then continue to build and grow on that.
Okay. So she stole my answer. No. So no. So uh, I want to share something that I wrote that is related to a similar question because someone posted a quote that successful men um, have get lots of women or are typically married and and successful women are typically not married, and it kind of relates to this in like building. And I want to read what I wrote because I think it relates to this from the perspective of what, Ebony said, particularly as you get older. This, first of all, I do think, and you all know that I think there should be some level of financial stability, but just even emotional and other kinds of stability too. But we're talking established, we kind of mean that you have your career and you have maybe a home, maybe an apartment, or you're just stable financially and you've built something that you can really live on. But something that Onita said kind of relates to this because you said that um, you know you if a man sees that you've established, then he's just like, well, what does she need me for? So this is a little bit lengthy, but I mean, it's my show, so whatever. I'm like, successful, of course, is a relative term, but I think we assume high earner, high position in this statement, stable. Men can find a woman to love and support them at any stage of their life, from poverty stricken to seven-figure entrepreneur and all in between. Not all women at every stage, but many. So they always have options. Women's options often start out fewer in the first stage, already fewer, but diminish progressively as she becomes more successful,
Yep.
because many men are not interested in women who are maybe more successful than they are. I've been told often in my life that I intimidate men because I'm independent or it seems like I don't need a man. More on that later. Also, she is also around more men who are already married. These successful women are around successful men who are already married. On the flip side, most successful women wanted a partner from the beginning of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not your whole focus. And so you work hard for the vision and purpose God has given you. And as that becomes successful, you still want a partner, but now it's even harder to find. So you focus on the other passion of your life while praying, hoping, and wishing to meet someone. Meanwhile, you become more successful and you still want a partner, but options diminish even more. And on that
Mm-hmm.
cycle goes. And we are independent because of necessity, not
Mm-hmm.
desire.
Mm-hmm.
But
Come
so
on.
many men won't search the heart and find that out. So they just see the external. I think she doesn't need me and move on to someone they think does need them. But the truth is, drum roll, please, we need you and we want you.
Yeah.
We need your strength, your wisdom, your support, encouragement, and godly love. We want your presence near us. We want to look up and see your smile across the room at the party. We want your laugh resonating in the house. We want your protection physically and emotionally. We want your hand on the small of our back as we walk to our seats in the restaurant. And we want our hand enclosed in yours as we run to catch the flight we're late for.
Come
Talk
And
on.
good, sis.
so much, much more. We need you and we want you.
Girl, you better
Woo, woo.
talk. You better
Okay.
talk good.
Okay.
And so it
Yes.
doesn't matter because then a woman said to me, well, they may think that because you're established or whatever, successful, that you don't stop. Just because I don't need you to pay a bill, and hello, I do need you to pay a bill, but just because I don't doesn't mean if that's all that
Yeah.
speaks to what you think about
Yes.
you
Right.
and
Yes.
the value that you bring,
Yes.
but you're ignoring the value that I think that you bring to me. All
Mm-hmm.
of those things, and I could have written for many more lines about what we need and want from you.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that I would then, what must I do? Keep my life out of order till I'm 56 or
Right.
57,
Right.
waiting, hoping that he might show up to fix my life?
Mm-hmm.
Only God can fix my life. I just need you to be a partner with me on the journey. So
Mm-hmm.
I do believe it's great to build where you are. And then when God aligns your life with someone, then you all build together because I think alignment necessitates building together.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
when you meet the person that God has for you, they will be aligned in even if they're not doing the same thing you're doing. Just like Ashley and Lateris, she now is in alignment and serves with him in his ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want, and that's what any true man would want. And so I'm not going to sit around not establishing myself, not living my life, because I'm not 20. If I
Right.
met you when I was 18, I sure wasn't established. But I think we've got to walk in the purpose that God has for us now.
Yeah.
He's establishing us. And
Yeah.
then the right man is going to be like, oh, okay, let's walk together. And now
Yeah.
we can build something even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Okay.
was really good. But I
Yes.
like a lot of the things that you mentioned, Lorraine, are the things that are being ignored is the fact that people need and want things that money can't buy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that choked me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
people want a hug. People want encouraging words.
Yes.
People want to walk
Yes.
in the house and hear some noise. They want to hear the keys rattling of somebody else coming to
Yes.
the house. They want to sit on the couch beside somebody.
Yes.
They want to encourage somebody. They want to
Yes.
Yes.
love
Pour
out
into
on somebody.
somebody.
Yeah,
Yes.
you want
Yes.
to pour your love out onto somebody. And that money doesn't have anything to do with that.
It
Yes.
doesn't.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Good stuff.
That
Yes.
is so good.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
said that to you.
Yeah.
Didn't I just say that to you, Onita? We were talking about something.
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
trying to say, or no, it was actually on our on our call on Praying Sisters, if you would like
Yes.
to join Praying Sisters, let me just mention that. On our, we had breakouts for singles and marrieds, and it was
Yeah.
only three of us, and we had a great time. And one thing I said to them is, people think that when you're single and you want to be in a marriage, it's because of what you want from that person. And
Mhm.
said
Mhm.
for me, it's like I have so much inside of me that I want to give that I can't give to my friends in the same way. I
Yeah.
can't give to my family. Like I just have that stuff that I just want to pour out on into and onto a husband. And I don't have anyone, there's no outlet for that.
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
so it's
yes.
not just about what you receive, it's
Yeah.
what you're able to give when God has put that inside of you. And so yes, build because God has created you for building, and then build together when it's time for that.
So good.
Yes.
That's good. That's a good word. That's a good word for married folk too.
Hello.
Good word.
All right. Y'all like that one? Let me know in the chat. All right. So, okay. Now, I might need to, I might need to pull up the story about this, and I wasn't ready for that, y'all. But let me give me a second. Okay. So here's the next question. Woo! Prenups,
Oh mercy.
prenuptial agreements. What do you think? Is that a red flag if he asks, or I'm gonna tell you the story. Or is it last minute incompatibility? I love that they put that. Okay, here is the story. We're gonna tell you the story real quick. um, and I apologize for not having this already prepped. I thought I did. All right, here we go. The story
Mm.
is Dallas Cowboys star Dak Prescott and his fiancee, Sarah Jane Ramos. This is public knowledge, obviously. I don't know them. So if it wasn't public, I wouldn't be able to read it. Have called off their wedding after she refused to sign the prenup, allowing him to keep all the money he had before their marriage in case they ever got a divorce or get a divorce. He recently got a huge $240 million contract extension, and his girlfriend wants joint property. They went on a trip in the Bahamas and had conversations in their hotel, which led to a massive argument where she called it quits. The wedding which was planned for next month in Italy, was called off, and guests are getting the cancellation emails. They have two young daughters, which means they've been together for a while before that 240 million contract, and maybe the other one too. That I'm just adding. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just adding. They have two young daughters, and so now it's all about co-parenting and moving forward separately. What do you think? All right. Who wants to start on that one?
Okay, let me just say before we jump into that, we need to remember there's a question in the chat from Hayden, from the last question. But we go ahead.
Okay, I didn't see that.
All good. I just didn't want to be forgotten.
Well, let's answer it. This all sounds great. I love it. Do you all believe this message is communicated to single men? Well, I communicated it in that group, so hopefully they read it. And I hear there's a lot of men in that group too. So I put my picture there too. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
I would say I don't think it is. I don't
we
think.
don't know where the single men are.
Right. I was gonna say, unfortunately, no, because it's always way more women, hunting for them than not. So they, what is it ever? They're not thinking. I mean, they're getting their options. They have many people, surrounding them. But I would say there could be though also a bad, high functioning women who just actually their persona and what they say is, I don't need a man. Like there are people who say very ultra independent, I don't need one. And I feel like unfortunately, I haven't heard it a lot recently, but there were times where, there were even songs about all the women independent, where there was a mantra of saying, we good. I don't want no scrubs. I'm independent. And so I've not, now you're seeing a lot more women say I don't want to be in my soft girl era, but I've not seen it preached to them, women speaking to the masses. That, hey, I am, you
Yeah.
know, a successful, I am an established woman, and I do still want a man, a
Our
healthy
voice,
man.
yeah, our voices who speak like this are not amplified in the
Yeah.
same way as those who, and they, a lot of these people are obviously more famous. They have platforms that we don't, but I've joined these. I think I joined at least two different singles groups this weekend. Because I was like, that's just a dating update, because I'm just like, okay, I'm over it now, let's me go figure out how to find these people. And these groups seem to have more men in them, because I've seen more men even responding and even leading. And one of the groups is actually having, this is so ironic, Sherry Lynn sent me a link to an event they're having in Orlando this year, and she didn't know I had just joined that Facebook group hours before.
Come on, God. Come on, Holy Spirit.
And I was just like, wait, what? I didn't even talk to her. She was on vacation, but she like sent me a reel, and I was just like, wait. I said I literally had never heard of them and just joined them several hours ago. So yeah, that's my update on that. But anyway, back to the prenup. Back to the prenup. Who's gonna answer that one?
You said prenup or is in kind of compatibility. One another statistic for you. 41% of people before they marry have talked about their annual salaries. 64% of them, however, never talked about their debt.
Mm.
So a lot of people go into marriages knowing what you may make. 40% know what they make, but they don't even know about that. 64%
Mm-hmm.
don't know the amount of debt that you've carried. And of course, this is why a lot of marriages have issues with finances.
Well, he
The
just got
pre-
a contract for 240 million, so he's
yeah,
probably
so
good on the debt part.
yeah, he probably did that part.
Maybe.
Um, and I'm
Maybe.
quite sure that sister for being there, supporting him, taking care of the kids. I don't. They may not have a nanny, but if she needed to quantify her time spent being, there, encouraging him, taking care of the kids, she probably could put a price tag on it. I don't know why there was not maybe a communique of saying. I don't know how deep they got into it. Maybe she get. I don't know what made her think she could have. Now, she baby girl, you crazy. That man been playing football all his life. Like all his life. Before he even met you, knew you. Why you think you should get 50%? I don't know. Maybe some type of round number if that were to happen. But part of me has always felt a prenup was going into the marriage already planning for the divorce. That's a
Mm,
part of my thinking that's always been kind of there. Like we say death to you till it's part on the at the altar. I don't know if they still say that because people make up their own vows. But I meant forever, forever, ever. And so part of me has always kind of thought, oh, prenup means we're already planning our divorce plan. And I guess because we both ain't had no money, it's like, well, you came in with nothing, leave with nothing. But I guess in his case, though, I understand the need for it because I'm quite sure also his attorneys, his agents, his financial advisors, all of them were telling him, don't proceed without this thing. She's already secured the bag because she got two kids. So no matter what happened with them, if they divorced before those girls turned 18, there was going to be substantial amount of child support. But again, she may be saying, but I love you. I don't plan to ever leave. And you don't want me to have nothing? I can see where the hurt is in that. And I think when there's so much money involved, in this case, is when this prenup thing becomes a very crucial topic of conversation. Now, why this conversation didn't happen before the vendors were picked, the destination, the
Hmm.
invitations were sent out? Because whether it's, yeah, he got this new contract, but he been had a contract. Why was it such a big deal this time? If it's
well,
just
it
because of the
sounds like
contract.
maybe he was trying to keep her from the 240 million that he just got. I don't
Well,
know what
yeah,
was going on before, but
yeah, and so maybe that's why it became such a big deal. Um, but these are conversations. Money conversations should come up in the dating, and of course, they kind of already went out of sequence, but they've already got the
Hmm.
kids and everything. But money conversations should already
right.
come up way
So
before now. So you're already discussing how you are with your money. How you I'm a spender, you're a saver. There's gonna be some issues, and knowing that, or somebody, for instance, who may still be in school, med school, and they're gonna come into the marriage maybe with 300,000 of student loan debt. You may decide still, but this doctor eventually will make a lot of money. Maybe they'll decide, hey, I want a prenup because I don't want to have you have to take on all this debt. What would that look
I ain't
like?
never heard of that one. So
Me neither. Me neither. But I'm just saying, is I don't necessarily say it's incompatible, but I just think that it's really more or less how much you place value on money in the relationship. Because if you're saying I'm to death do us part, I love you no matter what, there can still because there's people with way less money that have prenups. I didn't know it. I knew
yeah,
somebody, and I didn't know until the divorce happened that they had a prenup. I was very shocked because I was like, I'm gonna stop because I was gonna say something ugly. My point is, but they clearly stated out things that they were able to agree to in their prenup. And so I think if it's good, whatever is good for you is good for you. I didn't come into minds with one is forever ever or to death do
okay.
us part.
All right, who's next? Who next?
I have always felt so bad for celebrities. I think I've heard it before, but like I remember like Jamie Foxx or somebody saying that it's really hard for him to date because you just never know who's who,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
who's in it for love versus the money. And I'm sitting here um, thinking about Dak Prescott saying, or just kind of putting the prenup on the table. Perhaps because I don't know all the details. Perhaps that
yeah.
was just a test. You know what I mean? And then you're getting upset. You're showing your
Hmm.
whole tail because of not getting money down the line. And we're not even I mean, we're talking about getting married. We're
Right.
talking about creating a unity, a family that includes children. And most people who get married have a pastor or priest who is inviting God into this marriage. You know what I mean? Like, are we
Yeah.
really in this for the long hauls? Like, what are you mad about? You're going to get everything. And
Hmm.
on top of that, the prenup, I'm sure at some point can be revisited down the line. You
Yeah.
know, it can be revisited. So I'm just like,
Only
that,
if he wants to revisit it.
if he wants to revisit it, but again, if he like later down the line say like she really does love me, she really does want to grow old with me, he could scratch that thing. You know what I mean? And make sure
Yeah.
she's taken care of. But her calling it quits because she's not getting
Half.
of something how many years down the line, that's crazy to me. Girl, you don't lost all, you're going to run the risk of losing not even just the money, like scratch the money. This is supposed to be your husband, your life partner, the father of your children. We are creating
Mhm.
a solid um family. A three, what do you call it? A three strand, three chord.
Yes.
Man,
Restraint.
Mm-hmm.
we're
Yeah.
adding something special into our relationship. And you're going to throw it away for money?
Yeah.
That just to me, that just sounds so crazy. But I don't know what Dax, what his mindset is in offering that. I mean, other than what we believe it to be, which is that if you ever decide to leave me, you're not going to get any of my money or whatever, my
Is what it said.
free money at whatever point. But it's just I'm like, if you plan on marrying him forever, I don't even see why that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
I
that's
just
kind
want
of
to add
where
one
I
thing
am
too.
with that.
And which one thing you said too, Renee, that was really good because we were planning to get together forever. The other thing is, say it was a test, right? Because maybe he's seen some selfish tendencies. He also got that money, got the contract, but y'all know he could be one game away from being injured, like literally made to be
That
disabled.
too.
And if she was
Yeah.
unwilling to sign that, is she going to be willing to stay when I'm not making
Yeah.
that money?
Yeah. Like
That's also
what is she about? That's so revealing.
right,
Okay.
right.
But
All
again,
right.
I don't know all the terms. That's just
I'm
a
just,
thought.
that, okay. What I'm going to say, I'm going to let Ebony answer, but what I'm going to say
Mhm.
is I think that we're reading into, I just read what happened. He said,
Yeah.
I got this contract. I want her not to get anything when we get divorced. That's what the prenup said. And
Get
so
no money.
we're adding
Yeah,
thoughts
but
and opinions, and maybe it's a test and
yeah,
all of
but
that.
it's
Yeah.
Okay, but this is
but
what
I'm
he
going
brought to
off.
the this is what he brought to the table. I
Right. I'm
need
going
to
off the
decide
fact
what.
that she got that it sounds like she got upset. Like she's arguing and like going off about it or
Right.
whatever. It's not like they
Okay.
had a long discussion to try to come to an agreement or they needed to take time to think about it. She's just like, I'm angry and I don't want it at all. Like there's something about that, you know.
All right,
Yeah.
E. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Going. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see both sides of it, and I think what Renee was bringing forward is has a lot of validity to it, particularly as a celebrity. Like, if you have worked hard and honed your craft, and you are reaping the rewards of that, I think you do have to be extra careful of who comes into your life. And the reality of it is, I think that when it is known that you are wealthy, you are more vulnerable. You're more
Hmm.
you're more susceptible to people trying to take advantage of you. And so I do think that, put the prenup in place. I think that I don't think that is unrealistic, or I don't even think it's unkind. In this situation, again, not knowing all the details, only knowing what they said, it sounds like he could have handled that thing differently.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I disagree with everybody.
What do you, I want to know more. I want to know more about possibly handling it differently. What do you mean?
I think he should have they should have been having conversations ahead of
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and what is, to O's point, what is different about, did he have a contract before? But
Yeah.
what is
Right.
different
Why
about this
now?
about this new contract from the last contract? Like, I think that there's some data points missing for me here, but based
Yeah.
upon what I heard, it sounds like that he could have handled that the situation could have been handled differently.
Okay. I get it.
So I think that he's been getting the benefit of her being his wife
Mm.
without marrying her. They didn't just meet. They have two children together that she's raising. And you all as mothers know that even if you have a nanny, that's still a responsibility that they are probably living together, taking care of the home, doing all of the things of a wife, and now he's making it legal. They were going to get married, and then to come to me a month before the wedding and say, okay, but if anything happens, I don't care if it's a test, I don't care if you for real, I don't care about none of that. To come to me a month before the wedding and say, yeah, I just got this new contract, if anything ever happens between us, you're not going to get anything. Not you're going to get 10%, not you're not going to get anything.
But what does that mean? Like, because I guess I'm not really
He wanted her
knowledgeable
to
in
sign and
people
agree that if they ever got divorced, she would
for
not get
any
any.
reason, or is it for like if she leaves him or she cheats on him, like if he decides to
They
end
didn't
the
give us all
relationship,
the
he still.
any a prenup can include whatever you want it to
That's what I'm
include.
saying. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
But so they didn't say if it's because it just if we get divorced, you don't get
Okay.
any of that.
Yeah, because
And
that's why I did make that point of saying she's already doing the things, and you can't quantify that. You can't put a number
that's
on
that's
the
that's what
mommy
I'm
and
saying.
supporting
So
them.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think because we're looking at this big number, it's like, well, he has worked for that. Yeah, she's done work for you too. She's taking care of your children. Taking care of your household. She's all of that. And so I think I would be mad
Mhm.
if we had started off like this. And this is kind of goes back to the building together thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if that's the way it's going to be, then it doesn't matter if it's millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. We just have a prenup so that everybody just gets what they get, what they came into. And I think we're seeing the big number, and it's just like, yeah, but he's worked for it. So everybody works for their money. You know what I'm saying? And but she is a contributor, just like you're a contributor to Victor becoming who he is, and you're a contributor to Michael becoming who he is because
Yeah.
you created the environment. And we know that wives at almost every level take on most of the responsibility of the household and making that work, so that you are free to go do that and have the energy and work out and go do whatever you got to do. And so I do think that it would give me, I don't know what I'd be like, well, I'm just done with this, but it would definitely give me pause if my fiance came to me and be like, yeah, I love you, but the same commitment we're asking her to make is the same commitment he's making. Like, but I'm committed forever. Aren't you committed forever? I was, until you said maybe if we get divorced. I'm like, now you're not interested in sharing any of this. So I was like, I'm not saying I'm against prenups, and I don't know, I kind of feel both sides. Like, yeah, it is forever. Unfortunately, people make choices that make it not forever. So should we protect whatever? I don't know. But I'm saying in this situation, I would have had the same attitude she had.
Oh
So
yeah,
right or
yeah,
wrong, I don't, whatever. That's how I would have carried it. I'd have been like, no, bro.
yeah. And I was saying, if you even just take out the whole sentence, he got a new $240 million contract. That's irrelevant. He got a two. He still already had money. They still have
That's
a
what
quality
she
of
was
living.
trying, but that he was trying to protect.
He
Come
was
on.
okay after he got. I was thinking, no, he finally he got the money after.
Let's see what
He
they're saying
recently,
in the
he
chat.
says he recently got a huge $240 million contract. So he recently got, but he's already had money. There's a quality of lifestyle that she's used to. There's been many other stars that have gotten divorced. The wife gets like sometimes there's no alimony, but it's $32,000 a month child support for the kids. What those kids doing, I don't know. But baby, $32,000 a month. Okay, I could send a whole bunch of kids to boarding school and do a whole lot more. But to that point, I'm with you. We recognize. I think we're all in agreement that her feelings are her and she's upset. I'm not negating that. I'm saying why we can't have another conversation. Pull my lawyers to the table then, and let me say, because I thought somewhere it said she wanted half. I thought there was something about half.
I didn't see the
Mm-hmm.
half.
Okay, maybe
I
not.
thought
Maybe I
I
saw.
thought I saw that too. But
I
go
thought I
ahead.
saw
I mean,
somewhere. Maybe it was
I'm
just
sure there are other stories other than the one that I pulled,
there's
but
probably other stories because my thing is no, I'm not saying you should get half, but what I'm saying is let me pull my lawyer to the table because there is a business side of their relationship that you had. Like there had to have been. I would hope there would have been conversations way before now. You done picked the cake. Y'all done picked the vig. Y'all invitations. The prenup should have not ever just been coming up. And if it has, yes, I am very much pissed. Period. That's full stop. Nobody's negating that, but calling off everything, maybe postponing. I don't know if
Yeah.
I would call it all off because now we need to bring in a mediator. We need to bring some more people in
I'm
because if
like, maybe our values aren't aligned, so maybe it just
yeah,
needs to be done. Okay, so we just gonna
maybe
co-parent and whatever.
and
But
get
I'm
child
just,
support.
yeah, I wasn't feeling that. Renee,
Yeah. So we're having this conversation because they got big money. You know what I mean? They've
Yeah.
got big money. So this is one thing that I would say to the young people who might be listening to this. Please know that if we're talking about, people who do things out of order, right? You're having the child before marriage. You're either living with each other, or even if you're not living with each other, you're still trying to carry things like you're married. The fact of the matter is you're not married. And when women or sometimes men
yeah,
start
we do it too.
giving those marital benefits, the risk is when you're not a Dak Prescott, you away with nothing. You ain't getting back pay for all that you put in
Yep.
to that relationship.
That's right.
No, yeah, so that is definitely
Hmm.
something that young ladies and women of all ages need to consider before they start pouring all
Yeah,
of themselves into somebody. Does that person see your value and your worth and what you bring into this relationship, and are they willing to seal the deal so that you guys can both love each other financially in
Whew.
whatever other way?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
good, Renee. Thank you for
In that
saying that.
order.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I mean, he already had a wife,
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
and so he got the benefits. But won't trying to. Okay, all right, we gonna go to a funner one because I'm like, Because I mean, I was not feeling that at all. Because, yeah. All right. Watching the Netflix show Age of Attraction. I've never seen it. This is not for me. A couple with a 33-year age gap decided to move forward in a relationship. Is age truly just a number? What is your age minimum or maximum?
I don't know. I feel like I've been married too long to answer this one, but
Right,
go ahead.
right.
I need the noodle on that.
Fine, I'll answer it then.
Go for it, boo.
Back in the day when I was younger, I remember it was like five up, two down. But
Mm.
now, yeah, but now that I am a little bit older, I think that it's probably going to be more in line with our mindsets, where we are in life, what we've got going on. Some compatibility in our energy levels,
Yeah.
our interests and things like that. So there
Mhm.
may be a gap. I don't think that I would go that far down, and I also don't. I'm not going way up high. But I
Mhm.
think that the five up, two down is not a thing. I think definitely the gap has has spread, but I can't say exactly what it is. When someone comes and strikes my fancy in that way, we'll see.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on the fence. I think sometimes the age gap can be too much because you could be in very different life phases,
Right.
and those phases could make it difficult for you all to connect and stay connected.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and I think it depends. I think it depends on the people. I'm
Mhm.
not. There are
Yeah.
very few things now that I'm like in this space of love and connecting. I don't know that there's a lot of things that I'm hard and fast on now. You know,
Right.
seen so much and experienced so much.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Mhm.
No, I think that was great what both of you all said because as you were talking, E, I thought about that. You said you're in two different seasons of life. One, he's much younger, you're older, you can't have kids now. And even though he's saying, I'm good not having kids or your kids will be my kids, there comes a point later where he may decide, man, I really wanted my namesake.
Hmm.
And she's like, but you got with me. And you knew I was already beyond that point when we got together, or vice versa. The lady who says he's able to take care of me, he loves me like no man ever did, and I don't need kids. But then something happens that she starts to age, where she's now wishing she had her own child. His kids aren't attaching, aren't really being like her kids because they've got their own mama. They didn't need a new mama. They got their
Hmm.
own mama, whatever. I'm just saying this sense if this guy's remarrying. But then the other big
Mhm.
one is you are 10 or 20 years in and you now got to shift to caretaker. So it's no longer this hot, romantic, passionate, love making scenes that these shows have where it was great and oh my God, he rocked my world. Now it's, babe, bring me the hemorrhoid cream and can you take me to my gastroenterologist? And he's like, what the heck? I'm trying to just kind of go play ball with my boys because he's still younger. Or vice
Hmm.
versa. She's still
Hmm.
younger. She's the one that still take girls trip. And you over here like I need, my prostate check. Whatever. I'm just saying when it
Hmm.
when it shifts to where that 33 years is such a huge gap. You are the other
Well,
person.
you do need to get your prostate
You
checked
still need to get a
right
check.
there.
You are going to shift into caretaking way sooner than you would had you been with somebody closer in that 5 year, 5 to 10 year
Mhm.
maybe gap versus this 33 years is just that's your mama or your daddy. That's your parent. Like it's generational. Your whole upbringing has been different. You have all different slang language. Your technology skill level is way different. Like it ain't cute. It's only made for TV. But again, I'm not even dating the thing. That 33 years. That
Actually,
33 years. No, ill. Ugh.
What are the
I do have someone who had that. It wasn't 33, but it was like a 27-year difference. He was older, she was younger. Some friend, I wasn't friends, but I was friends with someone who was really good friends with them, and I met them, and I was like, wow, because they were super
Yeah.
happy. He was super healthy. I mean, they were, he was on his health journey in a big way. So he was, when we met, I think he was probably, I don't know, 71 and she was like 47, and they were, living their best life. And he was living his best life because he had taken good care of his health. And so now there wasn't that caretaker. I mean, it's been many years since I was in Richmond and, since I met them. But so I did think that was interesting. I never thought that I would do it. Um,
Remember you got that
but
offer? Remember that guy mailed you that letter that time? Remember if he was in the
no.
Adventist dating page you were in, and that guy,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
he was like
Oh yeah,
79. No, he was like 80.
70. Yeah, he was like 70 something, and I'm like older, and I still was like, nah. But I wasn't necessarily like nah because of his age. No, there was some other things that made me say nah too. But but that didn't help,
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that for me, yeah, I don't necessarily have a specific number, but I think that because 60's not that I'm not that far away from that, so that can't be the number anymore. Um, but I think that I'm probably not willing to go over 65 unless something like someone's really drastically, you know, fine or whatever. But I'm like,
Not drastically fine.
Healthy, because like you meet him at the gym, you both are working out together, so you know he's in
yeah,
shape.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like the guy at the like the guy at the networking party.
Yes.
He said he worked out,
He stayed.
So you said he don't look
No, he
70,
didn't.
Right,
He said
exactly.
he
but I
said everything's
mean,
still working.
so that's very helpful, but but maybe more premature than necessary to be made aware of. But we do want to make sure everything's working because we certainly don't want to wait this long and then have our honeymoon be busted up.
Okay.
So or
Yes,
but
fact.
I mean, even going down, because I'm just like, I really feel like you have to be at this point, maybe around 45 is probably, the furthest down. But God, whatever, I'm not mad. But like you said, I don't want to be blocking somebody from having a child, and I'm surely not interested in adopting or none of that. I got Marin and Daya, and they're good. And keep it. I'm keeping it moving. That's not the stage of life, and that's the thing that I agree very much. The stage of life. I'm not interested in grandchildren. Maybe that's cool. Whatever, come go, what all of that. But if you have minor children, that's not the stage that I'm really in.
Mhm.
Even though I've tried to make exceptions there before, but that's not the stage I'm in. And
Mhm.
so for me, that is going to be a significant factor
Mhm.
in that age thing. 33 is too much for me, down or up.
Yeah, you
That's
guys are gonna kill me. Okay. So this is why I like having these conversations, right? So I can hear everybody's, thoughts and ideas and whatnot, and I can kind of flesh out some of my own. Um, but I also, because this is a video that's going to be on YouTube to be seen by, however many, um, when Onita said something about, the guy getting older and then you're going to have to take care of them. If anybody saw it, my face was like, ugh. And so I want to explain that or actually fix it, because initially I was thinking I'm at an age where no, I don't want to be taking care of an old man, right? And then as we continue to talk, I'm thinking old does not look the same anymore. People
No.
are taking care of themselves. There are some older men who are more in shape
drastically
and, you know what
fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
than some of our peers who are what did you say? Drastically fine. You know what I mean?
Drastically fine.
So, and also, right. And in addition to that, with me turning my nose up to caring for an older man, my bad if you saw me do that, because immediately I got kicked in the neck with the thought that I could get a young man and something could happen and I would have to care for him.
Yes. Yes.
You know
True.
what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
my bad. I stand corrected with that. Um, but yeah, but I'm going to say this. I had an older friend. We were just friends. And when my older friend referred to one of his friends, who in my mind is an old man, I was like, no, like, I don't mean any harm, but like, that's like my dad's friend group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I, and no, thank you. But that's
Mm-hmm.
just me. Like, some people are just built different, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also got to be self-aware. If you know it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But I
Right.
mean, yeah, I definitely
Mm-hmm.
know folks that, you know, I have an acquaintance, and she dates up way up, and she dates way down, because she was like, age is not a factor for me. What do you like? What's your character? What do you enjoy?
Mm-hmm.
Are we compatible? Like,
Mhm.
those are the things she's looking at. And she's like, because if she don't want to box herself into, a particular demographic. She was like, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm gonna love who I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. Um, and the reality is that even if you date someone who is your age, y'all both gonna get old, and so you still gonna have to take care of old man. Like I'm
You're gonna
like,
be
For
an old
sure.
woman taking
but
care of
you,
old man.
but you'll be old
For
too,
You're
and
gonna
sure.
be
then
an
it's
old
gonna give
woman
us
taking
less
care of old
energy.
man. So it is as it
Yeah,
is.
for sure. But at least I was just
You gotta have less energy. So,
exactly.
and he's gonna have to take care of you too. So, um, all right. Now this is just the fun. Y'all get the. You just get to say one thing, yes or no, in one sentence. Why? Let's see if y'all can handle it. Are you ready? Are y'all ready in the chat for the last question?
Go for it.
Now I know some of you married people may not. Okay, but you have an answer for this. Here it is. Public proposal or nah? Who goes first? Renee.
Why
I'm
me?
calling on
Maureen, I
you.
can't say just one thing. I got two
Exactly.
things.
Every okay. Say two things, Renee.
Okay. So,
First, your answer.
okay. Um, it's not my preference. The thought of it is not something that I think that I would particularly care for. All right. That's the one thing.
Okay. So nah.
The second thing is the fact that I just told you before we came on that my son witnessed one on Saturday night, and he tapped me. He was like, Mom, is he doing what I think he's doing? Or whatever. And he was so excited about it. He was so like lit up to witness it
Oh,
and whatnot. And so the whole table like turned and we all got to see it. And obviously she said yes. And we applauded and made some noise and hollered congratulations across the restaurant. So yes, because sometimes it just can, brighten the day for other people. And then my son, I think he was a little bit like inspired by it. Like, wow, that's really cool. You know what I mean? So if he didn't see it, it would not have sparked something in him as a possibility for him. All right. But yeah, not for me.
All right. Onita.
Mine wasn't public, but I'm saying yeah. If you want to do it, you want to declare your love, you want to possibly get rejected in front of everybody. It's yeah. So I'm saying yeah. I already know whoever goes to propose to my tailor, it's gonna be public because it has to be at Disney World, right as the fireworks about to go off by the Magic Kingdom castle. So it's going to be very public. So whoever the future person is, God, we're praying that He knows He will one have come to us first, because I got to tell the brother this is what that sister's been she wants from maybe
Okay.
junior in high school. So yeah, if you want to public, at least do it. Yeah, mine wasn't, but I'm for it. Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. E.
yes, because I love a celebration.
All right. Me. No. Because I want the privilege of sharing that with him personally and then being able to tell my mother will know obviously because he'll ask her, maybe my brothers, but to be able to share that with my friends, to be able, I've dreamed of the day I could call my friends and be like, guess what? And I just want it to be me and him together, having committed ourselves, and then be able to share it with the world, because that's what our life is going to look like.
Love that.
I don't want Ebony and Renee and Tracy and all y'all to know before I know, because that's just not fair.
But what if it's a surprise so we all don't know why we're there? We're
No,
just having a
I
birthday
don't want
dinner.
other people. No, I just want it to be me and
So
him
you want us to let
because I think,
this brother know ahead of time? Don't do that. We'll let him know.
yeah, let him know ahead of time. I've told my friends already. Let him know ahead of time.
Yes.
She she's not down with that. It's a private moment for me, that I've waited for my whole life. And I mean, if he has like a photographer or whatever, I don't care about that. But I'm just like all the people around and all of that. No, I want us to come together, maybe say, let's have a party, let's celebrate, and then we share it with everybody, and then everybody celebrate that way.
Hmm.
So that's my preference.
I love that.
Thank you. Just wait for the call. Wait for the call.
In Jesus' name.
At the end of the day, none of these questions are really about timelines, prenups, or proposals. They're about your values. They reveal what you prioritize, what you fear, and believe partnership is supposed to look like. And if you don't answer those questions intentionally, you end up making emotional decisions in permanent situations. So we had a little fun and we had a little disagreement and we had all that, but we really want you to think about, these are things to think about in your relationship. You're like, well, I don't have a lot of money. So it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money, because prenups cover more than just money. They cover other things too. Age, that matters, all of the things that you need to think about.
Mhm.
These are just about what you value and what your values are. So don't just ask, what do I want? Ask, what aligns with the life I'm actually called to build.
Hmm.
Sis, you don't need another rescue plan. You need to apply wisdom that will keep you from falling in the first place. So, until next time, make choices that will help you live, love, and marry wiser. God bless.
God bless.